Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Techegy podcast. This is Player Nay, everyone's favorite gaming podcast. And today, we've got another special game that we've all loved and looked forward to discussing, and that is Shaq Fu. Available on Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and probably some other systems. I don't know. But the main ones are Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, but we're also going to compare it to Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn on PS4, PC, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One.
Awesome.
All right, boys. What's some opinions going around here of the original Shaq Fu?
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, I didn't hate the game. I mean, there are some issues with it, but if everyone remembers, the Sega came out with, well, I'm only going to talk about the Sega version. I didn't play the other one. But the Sega version, you only had, with the first joystick, 3 buttons. They did come out with another joystick later. It had 6. I don't know if this game would use 6 buttons, but pretty much I only seen like 3 things: jump, kick, and hit. And I was able to beat 2 of the guys on the, I don't know if there's more than one map, but the first map that has like 6 locations to go to, I was able to beat 2 of the guys. It is a very tough and brutal game. The people you fight seem to have more weapons or more moves than you do.
Fair.
But I was able to find combinations or weaknesses in them that I was able to beat them.
Did you look them up? Did you have to watch YouTube videos?
No, I didn't do anything like that. It was trial and error. You know, I didn't beat them the first time I played them. I played them a couple times and then beat them. But
how long did you play the game for? Like overall total?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, an hour or 2, maybe. You know,
You weren't drinking, were you? It helps.
no.
Okay.
It just, you know, like it took me like, 5 times to beat the first guy, and then the second guy took me 5 or 10 times, and the other guys I played and couldn't get past them at all. So if it's a game you want to beat, I don't know, you'd have to be very good. I wasn't able. I would never be able to beat it probably, but I've played worse games. I don't know about worse fighting games, but worse games.
I can think of a couple worse fighting games.
There's 1 or 2 worse fighting games.
Bruce Lee for the Xbox was pretty bad.
But I'm going to bring up something that we talked off camera. It's better than E.T. I don't care what anyone says here.
No, E.T. was better.
No.
E.T. had better music.
That's it, music. But gameplay is better on Shaq.
I don't know.
I mean, I would bury both of them in the desert if I could.
Well,
I don't know. That's a hard one because I don't necessarily think ET's even that bad. Once you figure out what you need to do, it's really not. It's not as bad as everybody says it is. Which
I agree with you.
I will also say that the Shaq Fu, if you go and watch the prevailing videos on YouTube, I won't mention the channels, but everyone can probably figure out which ones they are. Everybody does. It's the worst game, but there are far worse fighting games. Even on the same systems, there are worse fighting games.
And the graphics are good, and you know, it's Shaq says some funny things, and there's some funny things that goes on. It has some story to it.
Let's just call it what it is. It was a money grab.
It was a money grab because it was after a star or a movie or what, you know.
What were the 2 big things in the 90s? Mortal Kombat and basketball.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
And Space Jam. Yeah, Space Jam too.
Space Jam.
So 3. Yeah, 3 things. So of course you're going to make a Shaq fighting game because why? What else are you going to make? A Shaq RPG? That would have been cool. Like imagine Shaq getting warped back in time to like the Middle Ages, and you had to like put armor on Shaq, and you had to get his stats up, and you had like turn-based RPG fights.
Isn't that the plot for the third Evil Dead movie? Army of Darkness?
Yes, it is actually. So there you go. That was an 80s movie, but people.
That wasn't Army of Darkness. It was
Army of Darkness. Yeah, was that the 80s or did that come out in like 91 or something?
That was 90s, I think.
Okay, there you go. So take Shaq, put him in Army of Darkness RPG.
He could be Ash.
That would probably be better than the fighting game. But I mean, I'm not going to recommend the game, but it isn't horrible.
We only have 2 choices here. It's either thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay, I got thumbs up because
okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
So
I can't do like a sideways. Can't do a sideways.
No, we don't. No, we don't do.
there's no sideways.
No indifference here. You got to commit. So since I've already
commit,
I'll give mine since I've already gave my opinion a little bit. I'm going thumbs down. And I did put a lot of thought into it because, like I said, it's not the worst. There's probably about 3 others that I can think of from that time period that are worse. And I'm just talking fighting games, not games in general. Fighting games that are worse. Maybe one we'll talk about in the future. It involves robots. It's terrible.
Oh, I know which one you're talking
about. Yeah, I think you do.
It's terrible. That is the
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's real bad. But yeah, thumbs down for me. So what about MM and M2?
I'll tell you, let me this game definitely has a history. I ended up, when I started collecting again, somebody gave me a cache of games, and this right here was in it. It was they're all Atari games. Somebody had this in there. I go, dude, you want this? He goes, no, I just take that. So that's the only reason I actually have the cartridge. But there's a website that talks about how to get games cheap. And I'll say the name, Cheap Ass Gamer. On that website, Shaq Fu is what they use as a swear word when they're talking about things. They take the logo and it says, this game was Shaq Fu, or this deal was Shaq Fu, or something. I was Shaq Food. If you go out there, that says a lot if a game is getting that kind of thing. So I played it 2 ways. I did record a little thing. We're going to put that together along with JC's impression of the newer version. And a little play video that we did, but I played it 2 ways. I played it sober and I played it drunk. I can tell you, I enjoyed it neither time. You're going through it. I don't know what just looking at the plot. You're in Tokyo. Why is Shaq in Tokyo? And the first person you fight is freaking Aladdin. They're cash grabbing, as John was saying. You got fighting games, Mortal Kombat. You got Aladdin. You got basketball with Shaq and Space Jam. But they had it all in that game.
But I beat Aladdin.
You beat Aladdin. Aladdin kicked my ass. Both ways. It was trying to figure out what you were supposed to do was. And I'm good at button mashers. I was always okay at Mortal Kombat. Not fighting wasn't necessarily one of my favorite ones, but I'm looking at this thing. I'm feeling, what the hell? I mean, it just wasn't. This wasn't fun.
This was the Dark Souls of Sega.
It was a dark something. I mean, it was a black hole, is what it was. People that paid full price for this. I mean, I'm talking full price, not when they
I would never
99 cents, or somebody just gave it to them because they were trying to say, just get this out of here. I tried to give it to somebody after I got it for nothing. They're like, no, I don't want that. It's crap. But no, it's, the 3 of us kind of grew up in that area. So I mean, the person who can probably give us the most least objective opinion of this game is M2, because he didn't grow up with it. He grew up, a little bit with Sega stuff because I had one. His cat.
But I don't agree with that statement, because you had to grow up in our era to even understand them type of games.
Yeah, but
they were tough. They were meant for you not to beat.
Well, why are you fighting Aladdin?
I'm just telling you, them games. How many games in the old days did you actually beat? I mean,
you didn't have to worry about beating them in the very old days. They just kept repeating.
I'm just saying.
There was one time I played Zaxxon for 6 hours and rolled over the counter 3 times.
But you know what I'm saying, Mike? All games now are meant to beat in 40 hours or 100 hours.
Yeah, but again, this game right here, you got to at least want to beat it. You got to at least be invested in the game. I don't know how you can invest something this bad. So, M2, what was your opinion of it?
Oh, I put together a very wonderful artistic rendition of my opinion of the game.
Yes, I'm thumbs down.
So it took me about 5 minutes to make that, and that is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds longer than I played the game. I do not like fighting games. but I played this game just for you guys. And
Thank you.
just for the record, I enjoy 4 fighting games. The Injustice series, pretty good. I enjoyed it. The Smash Brothers series,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brawlhalla.
Yeah.
And I did like Multiverses for what it was. I just wish it wasn't fully online.
You don't like any of the Mortal Kombat's or anything?
No.
Oh, come on.
So that being said, I have never quit a game so quickly in my life than I quit this game. And I play League of Legends, and the temptation to Alt F4 anytime you miss anything is always there. And this game has changed me in ways I can't fully describe. None of it is in a positive sense.
So not a divine experience though.
It was definitely a come to Jesus moment where I debated leaving the podcast forever.
This is all about playing bad games or good games.
It's, at some point after I was getting my ass kicked for the 4th time, that first, I guess, Aladdin, I didn't even notice. I mean, graphics, great. Didn't notice it was Aladdin because I was too busy trying to figure out how to like hide in the corner. There's no block button, or if there is, I didn't find it while I was getting my teeth kicked in. It was like Billy Madison bullying elementary schools with a dodgeball. That's what it felt like. As Aladdin cast his spells at me from across the stage. Look, I found the jump button. It didn't help. He just cast spells upwards. Jeez, I think if you did a charity event and you had me playing Shaq Fu and Shaq shooting free throws, and all I had to do was beat Aladdin to win the tournament or win the event, I don't think it would ever end because he's not hitting the free throw and I'm not hitting Aladdin.
I agree.
That's the end of my rant. I don't play the game. Definitely don't buy it.
So is that a thumbs down? Just so we're clear. For the audio listeners.
Yes, that is a thumbs. I can't. Oh my gosh, I'm thumbs down.
Double thumbs down there.
Triple thumbs down.
Yeah, we can't give it the finger.
Look. No, don't.
Man.
I say if you like ET, buy Shaq.
I'd rather go dig up a cartridge of ET myself in the desert with a plastic spoon from Taco Bell than to play Shaq Fu ever again.
That's pretty definitive.
Yeah, that's probably the most definitive we've ever had on one of these.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Shaq. Don't come at us.
Oh, Shaq, I love you.
Well, there's a little redemption.
There is some redemption.
There's some redemption.
There is. And so we got Shaq Fu Legend Reborn on PS4.
First question we asked was why?
Why? Money grab. Because now people want to play this just to see if it's as bad as the original game or if it's actually any better. So there's some interesting stuff going on here. It's different in many ways. It's more like a Streets of Rage kind of thing than just like a direct fighter. You go through different levels and areas and you fight enemies before you get to mini bosses and bosses. You have power-ups, you have a suit of armor you can put on, and 2 of the best power-ups I think are Gold Bond is a power-up, and Icy Hot gives you full health regeneration. So obviously references to commercials that Shaq Fu has been in the last 10 years. Thank
God he wasn't in a Viagra commercial.
Yet, don't give ideas.
Was he in China?
So this game is not PC at all. Like, it is not politically correct at all.
But it does have Pepsi all over it.
If this was released today, I don't think it would have been on like Gawker or like Kotaku or something, just people tearing it apart and crying. But there's a running joke throughout the game about Shaq being Chinese, and everybody just thinks he's Chinese, and he doesn't understand why, because he's like, for obvious reasons, Shaq.
Yeah, I picked that up.
most certainly not Chinese. And there's a lot of stereotypes in the game as well. I'm not going to get really into them on here.
This thing's not that old. It's only 5 years old.
I know. I know. There's some stereotypes that will say there's some banker people with certain facial features and some Asian characters that say certain things and have certain mannerisms that are very stereotypical. Interesting game though. And I probably put about 5 or 6 hours in it over, a span of time. And I made it pretty far. I think I'm almost to the end in just those couple of hours. Just from the way the story is progressing, I think I'm pretty close. And I've died a couple times, but it kind of drops you right back in where you started. It's not too hard. The bosses, honestly, the first boss for me was the hardest one for some reason. And then they were easy after that. So I don't know. You do fight an ass, like not a donkey, but like an ass, like a human ass as a boss. And spoiler alert, it's a woman's ass that you fight. So,
that was probably from the Preparation H commercial.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, the suit of armor is pretty cool, I think. You can also turn into a cactus and some other things going on. Just a really off the wall kind of game, and it makes fun of itself and the original game at the same time. So it's very self-aware of what's going on. And I bought it new on eBay for $5 with free shipping for the PS4. So you know what? I'll probably finish it. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon because I have all kinds of other games I'm playing, but I want to finish it just to say that I finished a Shaq Fu game because it's certainly not going to be the first one. So I'm going thumbs up with Legend Reborn.
So I think I'm the only other one that actually played it. I got it as part of last month's Humble Bundle. So I think I paid $11 for 10 games.
Yeah, I remember you.
So I think I paid $1 for it. So I've got it on PC. I've got it on Steam. According to this, I played it exactly 7 minutes, which is 6.5 longer than I played no, because I had video issues when I was recording for the original game. So that probably is yeah. So I suffered through that, just for our community. But I have to agree with you. This one right here, actually, if there hadn't been a first Shaq Fu, this game right here, it reminded me of like one of those new Ninja Turtle games where you're walking to the right, you're beating stuff up, you beat something, you get to a little area, you beat a bunch of stuff up, you go to the next area. It does have a sense of humor. It's the graphics are actually not terrible on it. It's for what it is. I mean, again, saying what it is, it's so night and day from the original. You actually, you don't feel like slitting your own wrist. It's you don't feel embarrassed that you're playing the game. You
didn't have to pull the blackout curtains down.
You didn't have to pull the blackout curtains down. The wife doesn't wake up and say, "What are you doing? What's that crap?" So I agree with you. I think the Legend Reborn. I think they're taking a lot of liberty with the word legend. I would probably say a failure reborn. But I enjoyed it. I felt that the new game is actually worth playing. The old game, again, I disagree with MC. I think I'd rather play ET. Heck, I'd rather have my console broken than to ever play this game again. So, I'm thumbs down and thumbs up on the new one.
Got 2 thumbs up, recommended. Like I said, you can pick it up cheap on eBay, at least on the PS4.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it goes for on Amazon. It's $20 in all the digital stores. It's on Switch too. My major complaint about it though is that
I don't know if it's worth 20. 5 absolutely won.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could justify 20. I could justify maybe 10 if you really see it. My main complaint about it though is that to be clear, it's not a fighting game. It's a beat 'em up. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up. You go sideways.
Turtle game.
Yeah, like Streets of Rage, TMNT, some of those games. Of course, other ones. But my main complaint is that you can tell that the content is thin because you get during levels, they just start late, especially later in the game, they just start throwing hundreds of enemies, and it's the same enemies just at you. And that's like the content is like, we're just going to throw 100 enemies at you to make it hard. Instead of like, having cool, unique enemies, there's about 3 or 4 different kinds of enemies that they just changed the color of and they changed the names of and things like that. So, I mean, this wasn't a AAA title, obviously, but those are my complaints. So like if I had to give it a letter grade, which I don't know, I'd probably give it like a C- or a C, maybe in the C, somewhere in the C area, where I'm still going thumbs up, but like we said, it's not $20.
No, I'd have to give it the letter grade based upon what I paid for it.
Okay,
I'd
that's
almost
fair.
go based upon what I paid for it.
That's fair.
I paid little for some games, and they've been really crappy. Of the games I paid little for, it was probably one of the better ones. I mean, I've done some of those bundles before where, you get some Garfield racing game and stuff like
Hold
that.
up.
Hey, Garfield card is good though.
Sorry,
I said Garfield card is good.
I just
And the
got
second
it.
one finally added multiplayer.
They finally added multiplayer.
Imagine
I
making a
just
racing
got it.
game without multiplayer.
Somebody on Reddit gave it to me because they felt sorry for me because of the Fanatic fun bundle I just bought. I got like the Smurf game. There's a new Smurf game out. Yeah, don't laugh. I mean, I'll make you play Shaq Fu next time you come home.
Have fun moving.
Yeah. So, but no, JC, I'd literally have to rate it based upon what I paid. I think it released at $20. I think it released really low. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think it released as a AAA title. I think it.
No.
released
It wasn't $60 that it released.
No. And most 40. Now 40 to me was would have been way too much. So at 40 to me, it's like a D. I would have been very disappointed. You start scrolling that back, and my letter grades go up a little bit.
Yeah, I guess if I'm basing it on the $5 I paid for it, then I could go B or B plus, B or B plus for it.
Yeah, that's what I would do with the dollar I paid.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other parting thoughts? M2, any more parting thoughts of Shaq Fu, the legend?
I mean, just don't play the game. Like just don't play the original one. Like think of like the worst experience you've ever had playing a video game. And then multiply that by Aladdin. And it's just not good. I haven't played maybe the new one's acceptable. I mean, we're doing numerical grades, right? So the original Shaq Fu, I'm not giving it a numerical grade. I'm telling it to withdraw from my class. Because it's not passing. And it's not gonna pass.
Wow. Withdraw from your class.
Get out of here.
Yeah, splashed it up on the screen. Withdraw. Well,
Nancy Reagan say in the 80s, just say no.
Well, on that note, I guess we'll
Okay, how about this? Is it Yar's Revenge on Atari? Would you play that or Shaq?
Oh, Yar's Revenge, easily.
Wait a minute. Is yours the one that you can't even figure out how to play with? Maybe I have the wrong one.
Yar's is the one that it's Star Castle turned sideways. You've got a thing over here.
Yeah.
And like a shield here. If you know how to play it, if you read the directions and know how to play it, it's a great game. My first impression was why do people like this game? And once I learned how to play it, once I learned that you had to knock the shield out, and then you had to run into it and get the laser to go across. It's a fun game. I've had a lot of fun with Yar's Revenge.
I hope I have the right game.
I think you do, because there were people that couldn't figure out how to play it.
Yeah, if you didn't know how to play it, it was a crappy game. I mean,
especially like people picking it up now and without the instructions and popping it in. You're gonna have to search how to play.
Well, there's a recharged version of it now that's out, and it does have the directions, and they're pretty clear of what to do. But yeah, I didn't like it when I first played it at MC. I thought it was. I was like,
couldn't figure it out.
I couldn't figure it out, but I went and I looked and I watched the gameplay of it. It's like like you guys make fun of me on Beat Saber, is that when I first got Beat Saber for my Quest, I was failing like miserably, and then I learned. Oh, I think I watched something. There's little arrows on
Then
the,
you
on
get
the
the
bricks.
tutorial, right?
I didn't do it. What's a tutorial for?
That teaches you how to play it.
All I'm gonna say is from when he bought Beat Saber, I was telling him the boxes had arrows, and he figured it out himself about a month and a half later, but he figured it out.
2 months later. Well, because everybody kept saying it was such a great game, and I'm like, okay, let me reevaluate this and see what I really think of it. And quite frankly, it's one of the best games on the Quest. Now, Bowling Forever to me is the game I play all the time. That and the Walkabout golf game. But this is not Mike's VR corner. This is Techegy, play or nay, and we have 3 nays and 1 yay.
There. If in a democracy, that would overrule, but this is a dictatorship. The best in South America.
The best in South America, yeah.
On that note, we have an exciting episode of Player Nay coming up next month that I think everybody is going to enjoy talking about and playing as well. I'm really excited to get in and play it. I'm not going to say the name of the game, but just
I'm a believer.
We're all believers. So a couple different things this could be. No, it's not Jesus Christ RPG. So on that note, as we always say here at Techegy Podcast, stay nerdy, my friends. Terrible, as always. Thank
Just
you
like Shaq Fu.
But not as always because of Reborn. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Get ready for next month. Buckle up, Buttercup. Goodbye.
Bye.